GSEWIP. GCWIP is an acronym for God said, eat what I provided. This means good health to me, getting it through my mouth with beans, greens, and potatoes. In all the churches that I ever attended, health was never a topic. Every Sunday, I could expect to get 3 sermons. And actually, they were the same 3 sermons, it seemed like. The first sermon was like on Malachi. And then that next sermon was like gossip. And then that last sermon was like a church home. And I looked at this thing, I said, wait a minute now, I'm going to have to find out, since they want to preach about all the time, every Sunday we get the same tithing sermon, that Malachi thing. And then before we left out the building, there was this, you got to have a church home sermon. So I went, and that sermon in the middle, it was just some kind of gossip, whatever the preacher felt like preaching about. And he felt like you needed to know it because he had something on the chip on the shoulder. He had not, but anyway, I looked these things up, and here's what I found out. You see, way at work, on Sunday morning, we'd have this little devotional period, to kind of build us up to get us into that place where we're going to give as much as we can give. If that didn't work and get us to giving as much as we need to give before they took around that plate, we got this little sermon on Malachi, how important it was not to rob God and how important it was to give and all this kind of thing. And after this was over, you were supposed to be convinced to give everything you had, and even that stuff that wasn't yours, you'd give that too, right? So then this went on for about 30 minutes to an hour maybe. It went on long enough until they got the money that they wanted. If they didn't get enough, they'd ask for some more. But anyway, that next sermon, when the preacher got to preach, I noticed that he would start preaching on something that was important to him, or some kind of gossip that he heard, or something, or whatever. But I call that sermon the gossip sermon, and it would last maybe 30 minutes, an hour. Sometimes them guys were going about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on how they felt with that sermon. But let me tell you, before you left that place, now, you already had been robbed by Malachi, you see, and then you've been lied to with gossip. That's that second sermon, right? And then that last sermon, you're finna get fooled into having yourself another home. So that's what that last sermon is. You got to have a place to call your home so you can get your name written in the Lamb's Book of Life. Now, let me tell you what I found out about that Lamb's Book of Life business. I never been able to get a connection between what they're doing in the church house and God's Lamb's Book of Life, with health never being a consideration. So until next time, GSEWIP, GCWIP is acronym for God said, eat what I provided. This means good health to me, getting it through my mouth with beans, greens, and potatoes.